Hello? Alright. Feel like it's been forever since I streamed. But I got a coffee. Ready to go. Alright. Famfrit and Geo. What did I use for my teams? So I don't have a video yet of my sub 30 on Geo, so I'm gonna do that. Great. I don't know why this is happening recently. It's the first time since the game started that the connection has been this slow. And it can get pretty awful when I'm inside the game. Like, if there was error dialogues come up during... Ugh. This is so crazy. I don't understand. And no one else has been saying anything about stuff like this happening to them, so I have to think it's something to do with my ISP or something. Alright, that's my team. Great. Can't even load the team. All right. Well, I don't know if the game's broken. There could be any number of problems, and it may not be the game itself. Alright, this looks fine. Hi, Skillet. No, Skillet. Let me... Skillet is being a gatekeeper on the volume knob. Can I turn down the volume? Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm not using a phone. I'm using an emulator, whose connection has been constant. Yeah, she's just camping it. She's trolling the volume knob, and she sniffed me and licked me, which is better than the alternative. Alright, this isn't going to be a commentary, so I'm just going to do the fight so I can have a video of it. Because the commentary is like, it has a bunch of pauses and me talking over it. Sometimes that's not what you need, you just need to see the fight in action. I just worry that I won't be able to do it tonight because of the error messages. Awesome. Yeah, I am. It is very interesting what it enables you to do. Ash, I'm trying to chain. Stop taking away my UI. Skillet, now's not the time to be curious about everything on my desk. Please, no, stop. Stop, do not chew whatever it is you're chewing. Potions aplenty. Thanks a lot, Booker. Yeah, that's through the 50% damage reduction. Okay, baby. I think I might have screwed up on this one. Yeah. Larson needs more. Like, this fight is so weird. No, I haven't, Robert. And I plan on farming a lot more than 8. The fight's really dependent on the dual casts that I get. And not in, like, a good way. Because of the phase changes. The phase changes need to happen at the right times. So, Larsa cannot use his USB again here because something went wrong. I haven't pinpointed what exactly needs to happen. Maybe I'll be able to do that because I have a video of the fight being completed this way. But yeah, if he's not able to use his USB right here. Petrify. But it has to do with the phase changes. I think I did too much damage during that fight. Cool. It's great. Or just keep it up. I really like listening to this song. It's awesome. Yeah, it's the phase shifts. I've tried coming up with a way that Larsa can generate more soul breakpoints, but the only way... No, it's not even... It would be if I went without Protectka. I could try that. I think I used to use that in one strategy. And instead, I'd put Shelga on Ash, or Garnet. I think she has Shelga, and just remove the defensive white magic spell from Larsa and Wrath on first turn, and see if that changes something. But the problem with that is then he needs to USB 1 turn earlier, since they don't last until... You'll see. I guess this turned into a commentary after all, didn't it? And that's why I don't think it's worth it. Because... Please don't kick me out of the game again. The bot's not active at the moment. Hold on. Got plenty of time to do it, so give me a second. Nope, didn't kick me out of the game. Hallelujah. Alright, the bot loaded. Blender's staring up at me, expectant. Come on. Come on up. Come on up. Come on. There you go. So this Entrust to Lars is required, and I can't delay it at all. And if I wasn't using Protecka, then this would be the turn that everybody died. As you can see, some pretty low health totals. And I really botched Garnet's turns, which is why Onion is using his Vortex before the chain, or before the Savage mode gets broken for a lot less damage. It's really painful when he dual casts. You realize you just lost 40,000 damage. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what I need, to not phase change at the wrong times. $150,000 damage. Take it easy, BB. There we go. Does so much damage. I think it happened again. I think Vivi just did too much damage. He dual casted every single time. I mean, I messed that up royally. I need to save the USB recast until after the chain gets refreshed. And because I used... Okay, that worked. I did have enough time to get off that last Curada, which is what gave me the points that I needed. And here's Vivi just ran out of ability uses, and I don't get the 10 hits from Ash's entry. This was a bad run. Dual cast. No, we're not gonna get there. If I hadn't screwed up Ash's USB, we actually would have won. That one's on me. Now, we play the guessing game. Do I get booted out of the game again? Now, if this isn't an incentive to not restart, I don't know what is. Bye, Blender. Chain Thundaga R3. I made an error in the beginning. He usually has enough to last to the end. I used 2 Chain Thundagas in the beginning. I need to use 1 Chain Thundaga and then 2 Chain Thundagas. Well, again, I don't know if it's the emulator acting up. It could be any number of things, Asher. I haven't troubleshooted it, so I don't know what exactly is causing it. I'm pretty sure it's not the emulator. So I've noticed some strange behavior on my phone too when I'm connected to my home network. That's why ISP is suspect number 1 right now. Alright, that's cool. I always forget to wait There is a 25% chance that the entrust would have gone to the right person, right? Ah, I used the second chain Thandaga. That's alright. That's not what kills runs. I don't think that's killed a run yet. Normally that entrust goes off before that, so this has been slow. Onion Knight's actions are behind. Honestly, not that bad of a thing, because I can recover that on this turn. I can hold Onion Knight's action to go off after the Savage mode is broken. Have a good night, Golden Monkey. Thanks for stopping by. Nice skillet. Oh god, who's going first? It looks like Larsa. It's Larsa. It wasn't Larsa! That killed the run. He had more ATB. I will. If I can visually tell that one has more ATB than the other, it shouldn't default to the person on top. That shouldn't be allowed. Well, at least the connection isn't messing up anymore. Good morning, John, and thank you. Ah, God, I did it again. Yeah, they are pretty good. See? Got entrusted to before the attack went off. By far. Maybe on these attempts I would just will use Vortex before the Savage Mode gets broken. Because I don't think there's that much of a difference. And it does speed up Onion Knight later on in the fight. I have watched so many black mages die. I have become dead inside. The trigger is Trance Mark. It's to force him to take more damage. Oh, at least it got me at a good time during an animation. Whoa, that was close. I'll be really unhappy if this is the video. Because of this shit. What do I do? Just call up my ISP and say, "You're fucking up my record keeper." It's gotta be Garnet, right? Yeah. So this is how it's supposed to go. Then we recast chain, and then Ash pumps the chain up with her USB recast. Yeah, this is gonna be a kill, isn't it? Everything's going fine. Seem pretty low on damage, though. Yeah. Maybe I had bad RNG or something. Kind of relieved that this isn't going to be a kill. Maybe a dual cast on Vivi and a dual cast on Onion Knight and we get there. Ooh. 50%. Alright, 35% chance. Oh! RNGesus says yes. This shitty run can turn into a kill. And then it's gonna boot me from the game. It's really comical at this point. Thanks. Alright, let me take a look at these videos. Let's see if I have to film one again, because I kind of seem to remember having to. Or thinking that I might have to. Ooh, that is an interesting user interface. Maybe I should take a look at that. Alright. Yeah, I just can't click buttons. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. This is the greatest. All right. Oh, yeah, I remember. My Fanfrit sub 30 video is using the team that I don't like, so I'm going to film one. Now it's just a black screen. This is insane. Alright, so I'm gonna film a Fanfrit sub 30 video. Once it allows me into the game and into the fight. If it does. Oh, my network is fine. Well, maybe. It's possible that my ISP has decided that it doesn't like me communicating with DNA and has throttled my bandwidth. Because they can do that now. So the Famfrit team that I took my previous video with was an entrusting team, and I don't like using it. I prefer this team, where Onion Knight is using both of the celerity abilities instead. Just because it's got a lot more flair. And, for the sake of the video, I'm going to turn the music off. It gets a little obnoxious when I'm playing the video and pausing all the time and interrupting the music. I mean, the music is something I don't want to listen to anymore anyway. It's supposed to. I don't know when or if Japan got them. Oh, right. It's Prompto. Prompto's a speedy guy, so he goes before Onion Knight. I didn't need to do that. Garnet actually has some leeway in the beginning, because I need to hold her turn to use the magicite at 10 seconds anyway. I think her ATB comes up at 9.4 seconds, so she's got a little bit of room to breathe, so I didn't have to do that. Cool. Cool. Not during the recording, no. Because I'm going to be pausing and playing. When I do the commentary. And it's just annoying to have music starting and stopping constantly. I'll play music while I do the commentary. Good morning, Chrono. Onion Knight hasn't dual casted at all yet, has he? slow run for Onion Knight. Maybe he gets all his dual casts now. Yeah, good start. I find the phone easier for inputs. Everything on the emulator is lagged. I have input delay on the emulator that I don't have on the phone. Wow, that sucks. I don't like to pause for videos. And I've already done it. Ugh. What happened? Did I do too much damage? Fuck. I've never run into this problem with this setup before. Sora's in the top specifically so he can take an extra hit so this doesn't happen. Fuck. Yeah, run's dead. I can't use the arcane before 25 seconds. I haven't done, never mind. I'm not gonna bother. Dual casts on Onion Knight. Great, thanks. Three. That stinks. Nah, I guess not really. No imperils from Prompto. I wonder if that actually makes a difference. When that chain gets up there, Onion Knight starts doing a hell of a lot of damage. How much did it do, Dragon? Was it up to 6k per hit yet? I've had some really lucky runs where it got up there. I imagine with only 20% in peril that it wasn't that good. Probably like 5.2k. is good timing. Oh, no, it's not! Are you kidding? Oh, Sora. Nah. Man. I thought that Dispel was going to go off before the Arcane. Well, the run's not dead, but the video is pretty much dead. And the run is in dire straits. Yeah, run's dead. Even with a lucky double cast from Onion Knight, you still don't cut through that. That's like 100,000 damage. Now 70,000. And I still don't think he gets there. So, Arcane should have been about a 0.83 second cast time. And Protect was 0.75. I just must have put in inputs slow. I do that so much. Thinking that Onion Knight's gonna go first and start spamming the Soul Break area. It ruins everything. Prompto, why you gotta be so fast? One, two. Three. Four. You're not allowed to wield logic at me like that. Five. I missed Prompto's USB. Should probably just reset. No, if I get the win, I'll take it. But it's a bad video. Some nice crits. Oops. Run's dead anyway. Not only did I miss the Enlightening, but he's also slow casting. Because I missed the Thunder God mode too. It's still going to do a fair amount of damage. The chain is high. And, oh no, this is only 40% in perils. Wow. Way to kill the run. Just let me get to the commentary. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Wow. 2 imperils. Is this the run? Is this the run where I do so much damage that I can't complete the run? Because that seems to be, seems to be a theme on these teams sometimes. Alright, 3 on Onion Knight. Hello. 4 on Onion Knight. Good morning, Matumbo. Thanks, Ryan. Oh, 92,000. Nice crit. This is a Prompto USB turn, right? Please? I should have used Aiko's USB, but it's fine. That's not a big error. Wow, Prompto has 4 stacks of Imperil, and he hasn't even used his USB yet. Whoa. We're going to be seeing some big numbers from people on this one. Yeah. This is probably too much damage. And I'm not recording. Fuck. $6,000? 6,400 on the Valigarmanda hits. Oh, capping Tempest Snipe. Gorgeous. Doing way too much damage. Oh, sexy Onion Knight. $42,000 on Behemoth King's regular hit. Another Imperil stack. Prompto's playing with loaded dice. Yeah, did too much damage. Let's hope with all this imperil that that it doesn't matter. That's all I can hope for. Yeah, late night. Shit. Well, hopefully that heals Onion Knight. I work at very strange hours, Jonah. Being up at this time... Oh, fuck. It's not gonna affect anything. Oh, Graviga, thank you. Yeah, God. I did so much damage that I don't even know where I am. Alright, no enlightening arcane. Show me... Oh, you didn't cap. Close enough. Still sub 30. Completely messed up run. Because we just did so many imperils. Okay. Well, it's good that I didn't get that one recorded because I would have had to delete it. Yeah, Prompto did way too much. That was too lucky. Too lucky. Made up for some other stuff. Which is nice, you know, like we did too much damage, which meant Sora couldn't use his arcane at the right time. But we did so much damage that it didn't matter. Okay, let's remember to record one of these runs. One of these days. All right, just give me one moment. I'm actually going to highlight that Geo kill. What was the time on it? 29:62. I don't know, was it? For Geoskyno, no, it was not my fastest time. Was that run that I just did my fastest time? I don't know. It might have been. A lot of them are close calls. One? Two? Three? Four? Only one stack of Imperil, Propto. You're slacking this run. Nice Valley Garmandas. This is gonna be a dicey one. Please don't protect before the arcane goes off. You little shithead! Right before it goes off! The timing! God! Oh, man. I think that's a dead run. You little shit. I need Knight. Dual cast every turn. Save me. It's not even going to be enough. Is there anybody out there that can take an action? Nope. Runs over. Maybe. Flash disaster! I forgot about it. Yes! Flash disaster, best ability, NA. I don't know. Should I keep that video for the commentary? It's not exactly a clean run. I guess I can just comment on it. And the run never even becomes that close if the bastard doesn't protect, you know, 0.2 seconds before the arcane goes off. I was thinking about it, like he had some real heavy ninja mode stacked up. So I was like, well, can I get off the Ripper Bolt in like 0.4 seconds? Maybe. Then I was like, oh shit, flash disaster. It's instant. Do it. I don't think I made any mistakes in that run, so it's nice for that. Because there's no way for me to time the Dispel. Since it's a really fast cast because Garnet is trancing. And you don't want to miss that Dispel. You cannot miss that Dispel because then she just sits on her turn waiting for ATB for another 1.6 seconds. You just can't miss it. So you kind of have to wait. I did that on purpose. Ignore the fact that the boss was in its final phase already. It was to prevent a phase change to enraged mode. It was RNG manipulation, as they say in speedrunning. All right, then. All right, let me take a look at. I just killed a lot of magic. I'm so happy that these are on such good farm status. Both of the fights, I think, are pretty good. Geo's can get a little shaky, because those dual casts can really mess shit up. And with Onion Knight 35%, Ash 35%, VV 50%, the fight can go in some pretty crazy directions. Yeah. Well, that's why I don't mind just taking these wins, is because I love Spell Wards and Blade Wards. So I don't mind having a ton of these. But I still think I'm only going to make a couple. 3 of each. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still need 6 more Famfrits. And 5 Geos. 7 more Geos. Alright, just give me a moment. Oh, how much Arcana do I have? Ooh, 94. That's a lot more than I thought I had. Alright, I'll be back in a second. I can put some music on. For Evray, 1. I think 2 is ideal. But you only need 1. Well, need, as always, is kind of strong for a word. But I think we were talking about this earlier in Discord, is I like having 4 for the customization. Yeah, 1 at 99. 2, I think, is the sweet spot. I would have a Spell Ward and a Fast Act and just put them on every single team. 3, if you want to dodge having too many Fast Acts. If you want, like, to be able to swap one out just in case there's too many of them already because of other magicite. And I use 4 because I'm freaking crazy. But 2 is the sweetest spot. So you can just include those 2 on every single team and then you're set. But 1 is also fine. Since this is a nighttime chill stream, we're going to listen to some Blue Fields. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. Okay. Let me get screenshots of the team comps. So I can talk about those. I love that I'm using Dagger's Dagger of Daggering on Prompto. This is a feels song for sure. Vivi. Okay. We're gonna do Famfrit first. Hey. Alright. Famfrit. Definitely going to take a look at the team comp first. Which is Sora, Onion Knight, Garnet, Eiko, and Prompto. I don't think there's really all that much that's super interesting about this team, other than this is the first instance of cross-type chaining that I've done, which is Garnet, who uses a plus 50% magic Generation 2 chain on a physical team, and it works just fine. Not only does it work just fine, but considering the fact that you need a Dispel in this to get rid of the Protect, I guess you don't need it if you have a real lot of damage, but I don't have enough damage to completely cut through the Protect, so I need a Dispel on the team, so the more people you can throw on the team with the ability to do that, the better. And on this team, there are, well, 4 people that can do that, but I don't have the ability slots to support one less person, because, you know, my damage output is really not that high, considering the because when we look at Sora, I unfortunately don't have his LMR, which allows him to dual cast. So he, as a Spellblade, is limited to using Storm Spell Strike, which is only 4 hits. So he only does 40,000 max damage a turn. Even with Thunder God mode, that's just not that much anymore. But it is enough. It is enough. And he generates a lot of soul break points, so much soul break points that even casting Wall and Shelga at the start of the fight, he still gets over 1,250 soul break points within 25 seconds, which allows him to use his Burst Soul Break at one point for more than 40,000 damage a turn. That's pretty much all it's for. Even when you consider that it adds like a 30% attack buff on him, it doesn't really do all that much. What I really use it for is for just to increase his damage potential for a single turn. And then uses Arcane after that. So the Thunder God mode and a 6-star ability is a whole bunch of soul breakpoint generation. That's what we have with Sora here. And you did hear that right. I do cast Wall with Sora, even though I have Onion Knight's LMR. And that's normally what you do if you have an Onion Knight's LMR, is instant cast out your Haska buff on the first turn, and then on second turn you instant cast out Wall. But why I decide to use Wall on Sora instead is because he has Thunder God mode, so it is only a 1-second cast, so it's not that much of a difference. And had I not used Wall, then Sora would take his first and second actions before the chain is active, even casting the chain on first turn with Garnet, because Sora starts out with haste, because that's part of his legend dive, that he'll start out with haste if, you know, he's using an element. He goes so fast that he takes both of his turns before the chain goes off. So if I use Shelga on him on first turn, and then Storm Spell Strike on second turn, it really doesn't do all that much. I think it barely clears 20,000 damage. So why not give him something to do for utility on second turn so he can start up damage on third turn, and instead use that instant action. The instant action actually doesn't even matter for Onion Knight, but use that second turn on Onion Knight to increase his damage potential for later in the fight. As you can see, he has Ripper Bolt as his second ability, and the faster that he gets that stacked, the more he's able to do later on in the fight, because, you know, he very quickly gets it up to 5 hits thanks to Flash Disaster. An awesome combination of abilities, Flash Disaster and Ripper Bolt. And because of Onion Knight's Legend Dive, 35% chance to dual cast Celerity abilities, which does affect the stacking of Ripper Bolt. So you could use Flash Disaster, dual cast, use Flash Disaster and dual cast. That counts as 4. And then use Flash Disaster one more time. That counts as number 5. And then every time you use Ripper Bolt from that point on will be a 5-hit ability with a 3.75 multiplier. It's really just below 6-star, you know, capability. He does more damage than Sora at one point because he's attacking so quickly because of his ninja mode, the physical USB, and he does 5 hits instead of 4 from Sora. That's how good that Ripper Bolt ability is if you can stack it quickly enough. And Onion Knight is actually one of the best characters in the game to do that. I think the only one, maybe chat can correct me with this, there's probably somebody out there, the only other one that can, you know, use the Flash Disaster Ripper Bolt combo as well as Onion Knight can is Lightning. And without Enlightening or anything, Onion Knight does a ton of damage because he dual casts and uses a chain, which increases everyone else's damage too. So that's what Onion Knight does in this fight. And let's see, next we have Garnet, who is mostly utility, but she actually, interestingly enough, because of the incredible damage increase of Generation 2 chain, and the fact that we have Onion Knight and Prompto on the team, who are great chain builders because of their speed and their, well, Onion Knight's dual casting. Garnet can, for some of her Valley Garmandas, get up to about 6,000 damage a cast, because Valley Garmanda has such a high multiplier. And that's after it's, you know, shaved 66% of its damage, because this is the physical vulnerable magicite. So she does that because I don't have anything else for her to do. The Bard abilities aren't great. I could increase, I could use the crit buff, was it Ode to Victory, but that overwrites Onion Knight's crit buff, so that's kind of pointless. I could give everyone 15% attack with, I forget the name of it, but the 3-star Bard ability, but that overwrites Onion Knight's USB. And I could use another Bard ability to give people an increase, 10% increased attack every time I used it, but definitely not as impactful as using Valley Garmanda to not only deal damage, but add to the chain. That's really the best thing I can do with her. And I would consider using Kiraja if I needed to, but Eiko with Lionheart actually completely heals this fight on her own. Doesn't need any help whatsoever. And that's why I use Eiko here. So nothing to talk about with Eiko. Prompto uses his first turn to Spark Offering because the chain isn't active yet. And then from second turn on, it's Tempest Snipe because the chain is active, and I'd rather use 6 hits to add to the chain rather than a percentage chance to add in Imperil with 2 hits. So Tempest Snipe, and if USB is active, then I use USB. So Prompto is pretty easy. Magicites, definitely not an ideal collection of Magicites. Well, it looks like it is from the display on the right, but it's not, because I don't think I have any inherits on the second King Behemoth. We got the Water Magicite release quite early. I wasn't expecting it for like another week from now, maybe 2 weeks from now. So they're not that developed, but it was good enough. I went with my plan that I talked about on the 5-star Magicite like discussion, that I care about having 1 strong King Behemoth, or Behemoth King. It's BK. 1 strong Behemoth King and 1 strong Quetzalcoatl. And that's what I've got. So I got 1 of each of those and a weak King Behemoth King, and 2 Evrays. Alright, so let's get to the first turn, which is going to be, I'm going to Shelga on first turn with Sora. Normally what I would do is choose the long cast time, but it doesn't matter since he's already hasted, because I'd normally choose the long cast time with the wall user, because I want them having less time where they don't have haste, but he starts out with haste, so it doesn't matter. And the reason why I use Shelga first turn is because if I use wall first turn, then it interrupts the actions of the other characters in the party, and it delays them just a little bit. It's a small min-max, and it doesn't even matter. And then Onion Knight obviously uses his USB. Prompto goes before Onion Knight, which kind of screws me up sometimes when I do attempts, because I always think Onion Knight's going to go first, so I'm clicking that USB spot. But Prompto goes first and uses Spark Offering, because the chain's not active yet. Garnet immediately chains, because this team, because of Prompto and his Machinistism, goes really well with the chain, so he can start stacking it quickly for everybody. And then Eiko uses Protecga, and like I said, it is actually a pretty typical setup of just exploiting a chain with fast attacks, but there are a couple of fun wrinkles. Now we wall. And the reason why I Flash Disaster here, even though Onion Knight, because of his LMR, has an instant cast charge already, the reason why I Flash Disaster is because on some attempts, I chew through Ripper Bolt. Ripper Bolt is actually more valuable of a hone than Flash Disaster is, because I only use Flash Disaster to stack up the 5 required actions, damaging actions that it takes to get Ripper Bolt to max, and then I use Ripper Bolt exclusively for the rest of the fight. So I have a million, at most 3 charges of Flash Disaster remaining at the end of the fight, since I don't use it after that. So it's not a vital hone to me. Flash Disaster and Ripper Bolt do the exact same thing when Ripper Bolt is non-charged. Ripper Bolt is 3, 4, or 5 attacks with a 0.75 per hit. So that would be 2.25. And Ripper Bolt at 4 hits, 3.0. At 5 hits, 3.75. No dual cast there, so that only counts as 1. And that attack right there is actually pretty important. And I set up my party specifically for this purpose, is because of the representation of Final Fantasy IX here and their love of the trance mode. This is how Eiko heals the party on her own. Because I get 2 free heals very early on in the fight. And now you see, I have the chain. Now Prompto switches from Spark Offering to Tempest Snipe. Keep on using Flash Disaster on Onion Knight. And here you're going to see me target a heal on Onion Knight with Eiko. This is so he's healed. He got hit with that giant first volley. He cannot heal himself a couple turns from now. So he needs to get healed, while Garnet and Eiko take care of themselves, passively. Sora does his thing, he's just going to Spellblade, and then near the end of the first chain, that is when Sora is going to use his BSB. This is to maximize the damage of it, because there's really not all that much point in him using his BSB now. The only thing I would do, or get from using his BSB when it becomes available, is 6 extra hits on the chain, which is not anywhere near as important as him using it at the very latest on the chain to get the most damage out of all 8 of those hits that I can. Oh, it's not even +6, it's +4. It's 8 hits on the BSB, 4 hits on Tempest, or Storm Spell Strike. Onion Knight still using Flash Disaster, gets a double cast there. Every double cast is great. And see, this is the hit, the great hit, where both Garnet and Eiko trance and heal themselves. You see, Onion Knight has been healed already. And because Sora and Prompto did not get hit on the first volley at the start of the fight, they can survive for another few turns. So I've basically got a half Medica on the party just because of the trance modes. And this is what allows Eiko to just, without any entrusts or anything like that, heal the entire fight by herself. With Lionheart as her RM. I forgot to talk about RMs. But there you go. That's what allows her to do, is the Lionheart RM. So Onion Knight's up to 5 stacks now. And because of the ninja mode and the celerity cast time of Ripper Bolt goes off extremely quickly. So he really does output a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. Starts out small, but once Prompto gets the Imperils up, and Onion Knight starts contributing to the chain really quickly like that, you see it adds up really quickly. No crits on all 5 of those. That's depressing. Valley Garmanda's doing a surprising amount of damage, even against a physical vulnerable boss. And here's where the real damage starts. Prompto starts his quick cycle, and he goes to a 30% Imperil. The other 10% was from a Legend Materia proc. And now, I have plenty of warning, because this boss, like a lot of 5-star bosses, have a free turn at the start of their phase. So when the boss hit 80%, it switched phases, and it faithed at the start of its second phase. Normally, well, for a lot of teams, what you're going to want to do with this boss is, because its Faith is a plus 50% magic buff, you can use any magic break, any single stat magic break, to remove that buff. Even though debuffs really aren't that effective against magicite, they're 30% effective. It still does a little bit, but not that much. It's a different matter when you're removing a buff, because it does remove the 50%. It overwrites the 50% and also debuffs the boss. So that's a big difference. Because I'm using Last Stand in this fight, it's just, Eiko's a great healer. And, you know, all Last Stand healers are. It allows me to absorb the massive damage that the boss is going to be doing, because this boss is actually kind of a lightweight. Not only does it have that Faith turn that starts the second phase off, but its third phase starts off with Protect on one turn, and then Faith on a second. That's 3 dead turns of no damage. When you're using a Last Stand healer, that means that as long as you have time to refresh your Last Stand is yet another free turn. So when a boss gives you that many free turns, it actually becomes really easy to heal with a Last Stand healer without much help at all. And to add on to that, Famfrit is even worse in damage output, because it has Graviga turns. The gravity turns cannot kill you, so that is a free turn, because that cannot trigger Last Stand. And you'll see that coming up. We use our initial Last Stand here. We absorb the giant hits that the boss puts out. Cannot get killed. So this Savage Tsunami is going to do a lot of damage. And for a normal comp, you don't want to take that. Last Stand, whatever, because you didn't kill me. Next turn's a Graviga. Didn't kill me again. And then on the following turn, okay, finally Last Stand's popped. At which point, Eiko has a USB active again. Refresh, and just go again. Alright, here, At about 15.76 seconds, because Onion Knight used his USB instantly at the start of the fight, his USB status, his ninja mode, lasts 15 seconds. So it's going to expire in the 16-second range. The nice part about ninja mode is that every action that you take during it increases your cast speed even more. So the last action that you take before it expires is extremely fast, especially if you're using Flash Disaster and Ripper Bolt, which are already fast cast times. Not only fast, but Flash Disaster is instant. He's taken 6 actions, so he's going to cast extremely quickly. So we're going to recast his USB to get that ninja mode back. Otherwise, if we wait one more turn and cast his USB, it'll be a full 2.5 second Soul Break cast time. And it'll just waste a lot of time. Or we could just not recast it at all and cast 1.2 second Celerity cast time Ripper Bolts for the rest of the fight, which is slow. And then run out of our 50% attack buff at about 26 seconds, which is bad because this is a 30-second fight. So you need to cast his USB again sometime. Might as well be at the point in the fight where it casts the extreme fastest that it can. And that's right now. And you'll see the cast bar, it goes pretty damn fast. See? Wonderful. You see, Eiko even has a turn to use another Kurata, because she knows we can't die for another 3 turns. Gravaga, thank you for the free turn. We're at the end of the chain now. That means it's time for Sora to use his BSB. Onion Knight goes, now that he's recast his USB, it's Ripper Bolt until the end of the fight. Except for a small wrinkle, which we'll see. Because I messed up something. Well, I didn't mess up, but something happened that I had to react to, and we do something a little different. So, now 2 turns have gone by since that Eiko heal. 3 people's last stands are going to get popped now. I don't care that he's doing 1,000,000 damage because of that 50% magic buff, because it's not like the boss can kill me anyway. Because he gives me way too many free turns. Onion Knight doing a hell of a lot of damage with Ripper Bolt. And that's a cool, what, 72,000 damage on Sora's BSB. So we got everything we possibly cut out of that chain. And we recast. Unfortunately, she doesn't have enough soul break points to use her BSB in this fight, or that would be even better. Because I could definitely use 20% more in peril. Now, because we have 30% in peril, even though we're starting the chain over, Sora and Storm Spell Strike do so much damage that even on the new chain, he's basically capping. Even on non-crits. Now here, this is where I hover on Dispel, because remember what I said. When he enters his last phase, his first action is to Protect. And Protect is bad. What's nice is Garnet is in trance mode, so it reduces the 1.5 second cast time Dispel to 0.75 seconds. So I can just hold this. The problem is, sometimes stuff doesn't work out. Even that small 0.75 second cast time window interrupts some things, and you're going to see that it does interrupt this fight. Oh, and I can hold this and not feel guilty about it, because she only has 1 charge of Valley Garmanda left anyway, so it doesn't matter. She doesn't need to speed up or anything. I'm not losing anything by holding this action. So here comes the Arcane, because this is the way you need to play Sora. He's a 25-second character, using Thunder God mode, and the fact that he starts out with an element, which only lasts 25 seconds. And I don't have his glint, or any of his glints, so I can't refresh that. So he needs to cast this with enough time for the Arcane to go off before 25 seconds. So here's where the issue comes into play. This doesn't happen on many runs, but it happened on this run, where the phase change and the Arcane go off at the exact same time, and I don't have enough time to slip this in. You see the cast time on Dispel is going quickly, but it's not going to be quick enough. The Arcane is going to run into Protect, which is the worst case scenario for damage output. I'm swearing up a storm right now watching the Arcane do only 160,000 damage when it should be doing in the high 200s. Yay, now we Dispel. But the run does a lot of damage, and at this point we have so many imperils, and the chain is back at a decent height, that Onion Knight is going to be dealing a lot of damage every turn, and so is Prompto. And Onion Knight attacks very quickly, and can dual cast. $5,500 per hit on Valley Garmanda is really nice. She does contribute something to the fight. The boss proceeds, even though it faithed to not kill anybody because last stand. Tempest Snipe is doing a hell of a lot of damage. And here I am worrying about this run, but I got a lucky dual cast off here. We're at Magic Pixel territory, and I'm wondering, you know, I even paused, I'm like, what do I have left that can hit? Because we're at 29.37 seconds. And then I remember, I have Flash Disaster. I never use it at this point. But that gives me an extra 27,000 damage, and bam, the boss is dead. It normally doesn't go that poorly, because I did over 100,000 more damage with Sora's Arcane by this point, but I decided to keep this run and go with the commentary because it was a fun ending. Just, I guess, to show that Flash Disaster is a really, really neat ability. And yeah, it really has a low multiplier. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it has a couple uses. Which is, sometimes you need to attack instantly. And the other is generate a lot of soul break points really quickly. Because it's a 6-star ability, even though it's fast cast, it still generates a ton. And it generates it instantly. But I don't use it for this fight, obviously. Onion Knight ends up with so many soul break points by the end of the fight, it's scary. What do I have for Sora? Well, I have his Burst Soul Break and his Arcane. That's it. Is there any questions about the run? Unfortunately, I don't feel like there's much complicated about that, except if 5-star Magicite have shown me anything, and if using Generation 2 Chains has shown me anything, it's that being able to use healers without Mako Might on them is really valuable, and one of the one way to cheese it is to just have people trance. And this fight is great for it because I got 2 people that can trance. And I actually have 2 people that can trance in the Geoskyno fight, and I abuse both of those as well. And I'll talk about that when we get to that. I know it's 3 a.m. here, so I didn't expect that many people to have, like, to even be awake, or have the capacity to ask questions. But at least it'll make a good video, and hopefully people post comments if they have questions. But instead of Garnet Chain, you have Prompto Chain? No, Garnet is not a DPS in this fight. She's there for the chain. I would put in Lightning. So if you have Prompto, you're in a much better position. Because Garnet... I mean, the chain is extremely valuable, but if I didn't have to run Garnet, I would not. If I had Prompto's chain, I'd just find someone else to put Dispel on. If I even needed Dispel. It's possible that the team you're running with Prompto and Chain and Lightning and her stuff is able to stack the chain so high that Protect stops mattering. Worth what? What are you paying for it? Well, I chose it, so I think it's one of the best pulls or best selections on the list. Lightning with USB and LMR is better than Cane with USB 1 and USB 2. Cane with USB 1 is strange. It's good with an Entruster, not really that great without an Entruster. I would default towards Lightning, because if I'm using a chain, I'd rather not use an Entruster, because it means less overall hits coming from the team usually. And yeah, it's not a free Ultra. You did have to use gems to get that Ultra. Alright. Geoscano time. Good morning, you daddy. Because the 50% field effect is better than having Kane on the team, because Kane kind of sucks. Lightning Dragoons are not as good as Wind Dragoons. Wind Dragoons have access to Sky High, which is a really good 6-star ability. Lightning Dragoons don't. They attack too slowly and don't really contribute that much to a chain. So they can't dual cast or anything like that. Best thing I can do with them is give them Thunder God mode, and Sora works better with that. So using Garnet for the better chain is better. And Kane can't dispel. Garnet can. Yes, Pedro. Prompto can help a lot. Right, because he can imperil a lot. Would Shantoto be better than Kane? Possibly. Shantoto stacks up a chain really quickly, so she's kind of like Prompto in a way. Where Prompto imperils, but Shantoto adds so many hits on a chain that she might as well be imperiling. And the quick cast 2 to the entire party is also extremely good. So yeah, I would probably say Shantoto's better than Kane as well. Okay, so we're talking about Geos Gyno now. Let's go over the team comp from top to bottom. We have Garnet, who is, in this fight, going to use both her Chain and her Burst Soul Break 2. Her Burst Soul Break 2 is pretty valuable in the fight. Larsa, who you could actually sub in Iris, I think. Iris with her Burst Soul Break. Or I don't use Larsa's Burst Soul Break in here because it's not good enough. The heal is kind of light, and the nice part about Iris is that the Stone Skin 30% that her BSB provides nets more damage protection than Larsa. So if I use Larsa's Burst here, people just end up dying because it's not enough healing. I would have to Legend Dive Larsa, where I don't think I would have to Legend Dive Iris. So back to Garnet, we have no damaging abilities on her this time. I don't have Valley Gourmand on her because Ash uses that as a 6-star ability to generate Soul Break points at the start of the fight. Which allows her to get off her USB cast without any help whatsoever. We do have an Entruster in this fight, but nothing goes towards Vivi or Ash. They both they self-generate. But we do have Garnet with Allegro Con Moto, and Allegro Con Moto is very interesting. And I didn't ever expect to use it together with Onion Knight's USB, but because I don't really have the opportunity to recast Onion Knight's USB, he's really valuable as an Entruster here, because Larsa can't keep the party alive without it. It's really nice to have that from an alternate source. And that's why Garnet's Burst Soul Break is so valuable, is because there comes a point in the fight where I can't Allegro Con Moto anymore. And she needs something else to do. And her Command 2 is a 4-hit lightning ability, and she does a fair amount of damage with it, because by that point in the fight, the chain is stacked very well, and she does about 30k per turn with it, which is plenty. So that's Garnet, and you see her in the first position. That's a very important position for her to be in, because this is where she abuses her trance mode, and I'll talk about that when that happens. Larsa you see with Thunder God mode, and the reason why I have Thunder God mode on him, because this is a mage team. And this is something I would use on probably on Aerith as well, on a physical team, because the cast speed buff that's provided by Onion Knight and Allegro Konmodo is the same exact buff. It's a magical quick cast 3, which halves the cast time of any damaging magical action that people make. So Onion Knight uses Vortex, damaging magical action. Garnet, well, most of the time doesn't use any magical actions until the very end of the fight. But most importantly, Vivi and Ashe use damaging actions or magical actions the entire fight. Larsa does not gain any benefit from that whatsoever over the course of the fight. So in order for him to keep up, even with getting in trust, because this boss does a lot of damage, he needs Thunder God mode. And it works out perfectly because he gets off the perfect amount of actions over the course of the fight. He does not have an easy time healing this fight. And most of my troubles sub-30ing this fight had to do with getting the exact number of turns and what actions to do on those turns to generate the right amount of soul break points. And who specifically to heal. I target 2 different heals in this fight. So, yeah, him using Thunder God mode was the only thing that I could do. And it was really, really difficult to come up with that. Which is kind of surprising. I guess it's obvious that I have the damage output in this team, but healing it is weird because sometimes you do so much damage, because this boss has some very powerful start of phase attacks, and that's what made it so difficult, because if you do too much damage, then he out damages your healing. And unfortunately, I kind of need Larsa in this fight because I don't have any arcanes. And something that happens later on in the fight is the boss petrifies the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th positions. And something you can do in the case that happens is you can let yourself get petrified. And have your 2 primary damage dealers be in the 1st and 5th positions, and they can finish off the fight, because that's going to happen when the bosses has like 25% HP left. You can take that and let your team get petrified if you have enough damage to make it through that last 25%. Since I don't have arcanes, it will make it like a very, very low percentage. Like everyone would need to dual cast perfectly. And that sucks. So I don't want to do that. So I had to use an Astra healer here, because there's no way you do this fight without Quetzalcoatl as your primary. So you can't use Unicorn for that either. So I had to use either Larsa or Iris. I don't have Iris's BSB, so Larsa's the guy. So fortunate that I got Larsa's USB on the first banner of the festival, or I would have had to select Iris's BSB off of the Acolyte Archives, which I could have done and would have been fun. I do have her LMR, it would have been cool, but being able to make use of that Larsa USB that I got definitely makes me happy. So there's Larsa. Next up is Vivi. This is my first time using Vivi in an important fight, and as you're going to see, he lives up to the hype. He is a fire mage, and he is going to deal an unruly amount of lightning damage. Because he dual casts black magic, and he can triple cast at a 50% chance to triple cast when he's in trance mode, and that's why you see him in the front row right now, because before Larsa starts using his Medica to heal the party, because at that point, it's very unlikely that you're going to trigger your trance mode. I need Vivi's trance to trigger. And in order for that to happen, he needs to be in the front row. And it works out fine, because he takes that physical attack and it deals a ton of damage to him. His trance mode goes, and as soon as his trance mode happens, the chain is also happening at that time. It's actually a perfect timing. So even though he hasn't used his USB yet, he still has a chance to dual cast, which is nice. It's 50%, so it's not even a bad chance anymore. Ashe is... Well, she doesn't do anything complicated in this fight. She uses Valigarmanda twice, and then one Chain Thundaga. That allows her to use her USB, and then a million Chain Thundagas, and that's the end of the fight. The reason why she does 2 Valigarmandas and 1 Chain Thundaga is by the time she gets that third action, the chain is active, and I'd rather have her 4 hit the chain, because it does about the same amount of damage. Because Valigarmanda is capped, and it does 1 more hit. And if she dual casts, then that's 2 more hits on the chain. It's not that much, but it's something. And she doesn't need the soul break points. She is a character that would much rather use her ability than cast her USB. The only time, or the best time to recast her USB is at the start of a chain, because it's 10 hits, 10 guaranteed hits. And they're pumped up hits, where her chase is kind of a low multiplier. So you get a lot more benefit out of recasting a USB, and you see that when it comes. Onion Knight is the real complicated character in this fight, because he needs to fuel the entire party, and he needs to fuel 2 different people and at the exact right timings. And he does that using Vortex as a soul breakpoint generator. And and then entrusts to both Garnet and Larsa. And down below we have the magicite deck. We have a Garuda in there because I was more prepared for the physical team because of my clears. I have a bad Quetz clear, and I haven't been able to farm many of them. So I had 2 Behemoth Kings for my physical team, but I only have 1 Quetz. So I had to fill a slot with Garuda, and that's fine. If that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do. But again, emphasize importance that's perfectly acceptable to only have 1 of each. And I think moving forward, I'm only going to aim to have 1 of each. And 2 Evrays, of course. So let's oh, I didn't talk about RMs that much. There's not much to talk about. Garnet, because of her delayed chain, you're going to see why, doesn't get that 50% magic buff on the party fast. So Onion Knight and his USB is actually pretty vital here, even though stacking Onion Knight's USB and the chain is not that great from a plus magic perspective, especially for 2 characters who self-buff as well as Vivi and Ashe do. But him being able to instantly haste the party at the start of the fight and let them deal a little bit of more damage for the first couple turns of the fight because of the 30% magic buff is useful. Okay, so let's get going. So Onion Knight does go first in this fight, because mages are slow pokes. Ugh, I didn't have the volume up very high on this one. This one is nice because I can use the left ability for all 4 of these characters. It does stink because Ash can take her turn right now, but I have to get through 3 other people's actions to get there. So, it stinks that it's not staggered. Generating soul break points on both Ash and Vivi. Shelga with Larsa. Oh no, Shelga with Garnet and Protecka with Larsa. Instant wall with second turn. We did the typical setup with Onion Knight and his Olimar on this team. And you saw that. This is what Geos Gyno does on his second turn. He does over 7,000 damage to the first position, which happens to be a perfect amount of damage for Garnet to trigger her trance mode. My second trance mode in this party is Vivi. Vivi does not have enough health or defenses to survive that attack, so Garnet's got to be the one. So that's a lot of damage to happen on the first turn, but Garnet goes ahead and says, okay, thanks. And you see I target a heal on Garnet here. I have to do this in order for Larsa to heal the party long enough for him to get his USB available. Even with Thunder God mode. Because this boss puts out a lot of damage, as you're going to see here. That's a 50% gravity attack. Third turn with Onion Knight is a Vortex. This is to generate some soul break points, and he's going to give these to Larsa, which is going to allow him to heal the party up after they take a bunch of damage. And now we target another heal on Ash, and it's also very important that I do this or the run ends. Still using Chain Thundagas on Vivi. And now that the chain is active, I use Chain Thundaga on Ash, and this is exactly why. Because it allows her to deal more overall damage as well as stack the chain a little better. And on Garnet's third turn, everyone has taken 3 actions. Well, Vivi and Ash specifically have taken 3 actions, which means their quick cast magic 3 from Onion Knight is gone. This is a perfect time for me to Allegro Con Moto, and that's why I do this now instead of waiting. I would only need to wait like 1 second for Garnet to use the magicite. The magicite is really important to use in this fight, because this is another one of those fights where if you don't break the damage cap, the boss's savage mode halves your damage output, which really sucks. I eventually came to the conclusion that getting the quick cast magic off right now, so both Ash and Vivi can quick cast their USBs out next turn, was more important than breaking the damage cap, or breaking the damage cap and, you know, making the boss vulnerable. And the reason for that is because Vivi's USB doesn't even do anything. So there's a reduced benefit to having the damage cap broken for this turn. So I don't care that much. So we do wait another turn, and it's nice because it sets up some convenient instant damage cap breaks later on in the fight. I wait for this Aqua Breath, and you see this Aqua Breath deals a ton of damage, and both Ash and Garnet would be dead right now if I hadn't targeted those heals on them earlier. And another reason why it's not that important for me to break the damage cap right now is Ash's USB entry actually doesn't do a lot of damage if I'm not using her LMR, and her LMR doesn't work well in this fight. So I don't really lose that much by not having the cap broken right now. That's doing non-elemental damage. As you can see, I'm not missing much. Now, one thing I can do with Onion Knight on this turn prior is hold his Vortex to go off after Garnet's cap break, but sometimes I just prefer not to do that, because there is the potential that I do too much damage in this fight with the right dual casts, which can easily happen. And if I do too much damage, then the boss out damages my heals. So it's not even that big of a deal that I vortex into a 50% damage reduction here. And honestly, in some ways, it's better that I do, because Onion Knight takes his turn faster, generates, you know, soul break points faster, that he can entrust other people faster. And you see, Onion Knight's second entrust goes to Garnet. So he has a very predictable turn pattern here. First turn was USB, second turn was Wall. Vortex entrust to Larsa. Vortex entrust right now to Garnet. Then he's going to Vortex entrust to Larsa, and then from that point on, it's just Vortex to the end of the fight. And now we see Vivi do his thing. Like, automatic dual cast of Chain Thandaja, well, that's 100,000 damage. Oh, 50% chance to dual cast, that's 150,000 damage. Thanks, Vivi. Vivi is disgusting. Refresh Allegro con Moto. It is one turn early, but she didn't have anything else to do on that turn anyway. Not every run do I have the opportunity to wait for that and trust, and I'd honestly rather not. The 50% damage reduction is up right now, and even at the chain at this level, Ash was still capping, and Vivi's coming close. Alright, I'm getting a worrying amount of dual casts right now. Now we're going to be dealing even more damage. At this point of the chain, I do not find the Savage mode threatening at all. Everything is going to cap, because there is 40% in peril as well as a 101% chain. So that attack that he just did, that was an auto hit poison. So the previous Astra that I had on my team was removed, and that's why it's important to time your Astra correctly. Of course, with the instant USB, I don't have to, but if I was using Iris's BSB, I would definitely need that Thunder God mode in order for a BSB to go off after that attack, which removed my Astra, reapply Astra, because next turn is going to be the Petrify. There it is. Doesn't really do anything. If you have Astra up. Vivi has run out of hones now. I could have honed Chain Thandaga one more. But it's the team does so much damage that it was unnecessary. And even though he's going to single cast that, he still had a chance to dual cast. I would say so, yes, E-Daddy. Unless you have Larsa dived. Then, of course, he's better. And you see, I saved Ash's USB recast for the new chain, because it still does a lot of damage, even at a low chain count, and it's 10, you know, it's 10 hits. So on the next turn, that's a nice amount of damage from Garnet's Command 2. And Vivi's just done. His fight has ended. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what Ash does on the next turn, because I did a lot of damage during this fight. Not my fastest clear, but close. Pinello USB could also work, right? Because the Petrify attack is physical, you can physical blink it. Yep, Astra is not necessary if you can completely dodge the attack. I should try this fight with Arc, Super Soul Break 2 sometime. I wonder how that would work. Honestly, I probably should have tried that before making this video, because it would have been a really fun video. Tyro USB 1 is not fast cast or anything, and it barely heals anything. I wouldn't call it a good alternate, but it's a potential alternate. But I do really like Tyro's USB 1, and you could make it work, so sure. Edge USB 0 also works, or Edge Super Soul Break 2. Nope, just one Neros. Automatic dual cast, 50% chance to triple cast, no chance to quad cast. What's up? How would I use Edge? Flash Disaster to generate Soul Break points. Flash Disaster and Ripper Bolt. And just USB whenever possible. Or, you know, you would time the USB to go off for when you need Last Stand. Except for that Petrify attack later in the fight where you know you need to have a physical blink active. So that's what you need to have. Is Last Stand to protect people from dying, which will happen often in this fight. This boss does a ton of damage. And make sure that you dodge the Petrify. Yes, I would use Vivi's LMR. Vivi's LM1 is equipped right now. It is 10% fire damage. It does 0 in this fight. He never does fire damage. Even his USB cast does non-elemental. And Vivi is... Oh, actually, is it LMR? I don't know. Maybe not. Because he caps so easily in this fight that... I mean, what am I really gaining from using his LMR? Nothing. Barely anything. What is Amo's USB? I forgot. Is it Physical Blink or Astra? In this fight, E-Daddy? This is the magic fight. You're using lightning in the magic fight? What do you mean replace Vivizar? Oh, well, to make him do less damage? Thunder God mode's already on Larsa and is required. I don't know what else I'd put on him. 15% chance to dual cast, so he'd have a chance to quad cast. I don't know if it's worth it. I prefer the consistency of the 30% increased damage from Scholar's Boon, and instead of attacking slower but with a 15% chance to add an attack. Yes, yeah. Queen would make an awesome character in Fanfare. Trance modes are just really good for fights where you need your healer to be independent for it a little while or the entire fight. Fanfare, my healer is independent for the entire fight. In this fight, Larsa needs to last a long time. And he pulls that off thanks to 2 trance modes. Well, 1 trance mode. He targets a heal on Garnet anyway at the start of the fight. So her healing from her trance isn't that important. The trance mode itself is awesome though. Garnet having 2 times cast speed for the entire fight is incredible. Is there any bad trance? I don't really care for the... No, Armorance is fine. I don't really care for the trances that don't heal. Like Gilgamesh's. It's okay. It's fine. It's good. But that heal is so important. And losing that kind of stinks. But if there's any bad trance, no, I don't think so. A trance is the sign of a good dive, usually. Almost always. I think there's more than just Gilgamesh's, too. Let me take a look. Biggs. We don't have access to Biggs yet, but Biggs doesn't heal him. Wall from Final Fantasy 1 grants elemental boost when HP falls below 20%. That's an LMR though. That's more acceptable on an LMR. No, Emperor's Trance is does heal him. Dark Knight Cecil grants Last Stand and Thirsting Blade for 25 seconds. No heal. But Last Stand is cool. Sid from Final Fantasy IV. Wow, there's even a lot more than I thought there was. Sid from Final Fantasy IV grants Last Stand and Hailstorm for 25 seconds. Gilgamesh grants Protect, Shell, Haste, and Gilgamesh Trance when HP falls below 20%. Terra is a heal, Locke is a heal, Gao is a heal, Vincent's a heal, Seph's a heal, Zidane is a heal, Garnet's a heal. Final Fantasy IX gets some nice trances. Steiner's is a heal. Steiner's is restores HP for 100% of the user's maximum HP and grants Steiner Trance when HP falls below 20%. I'm not going to go look up what Steiner's Trance is. Freya's is a heal, Quina heal, Eiko heal, Amarat heal, Naorat Shantoto also a heal, Horsebrow, also a heal. Gafgarian, also a heal. Queen, also a heal. And finally, Jack is not a heal. Grants Retaliate and 75% critical when HP falls below 20%. Doesn't his USB do something that does not mesh with that at all? Retaliate and 75% chance critical. Attack plus 30%, cast speed times 3 for samurai abilities, dual cast samurai abilities, removed if the user doesn't have any stone skin. Okay, it's actually pretty good. Works really well with his USB. It's true. It's true. They're really good in this game. In Final Fantasy IX, they just take up a lot of animation time. Like, okay, get on with it. I just want to defeat the fight, please. All right. She's not my girlfriend. Let's try that fight with Ark. See if I can make it work. Get out of here, Larsa. We got a bookworm. Oh my goodness, Ark, you need some health. Ark, come on. Are you serious right now? You can't use light armor? Right, give me a second. Oh, oops. Yeah, he's actually more paper thin than Vivi. Then again, Vivi's legend dived with crystal waters. I am not legend diving Ark. Not for a test. This 25.62, that was an amazing run. Legendary RNG. Alright, let's try this out. Maybe with the major water resists, Ark can survive. If he can't, I'm not going to throw any more resources on him just for a test. Oh, I forgot. I forgot this is happening. I was spoiled by the videos. I'm not done farming them, no. I just got both runs consistent last night, and I haven't had much time to play. When you see me streaming at this time of night, no, I'm scraping time together. Regurgitate does less damage to Ark. He has less life to take away. Oh, oops, I didn't want a Valley Commander that turn. Oop, Ark dead. It takes too much, even with the major resist. It's because I can't use any of my 6-star armor on him. Well, maybe I can. Maybe I can. Hold on. Let's try again. He's got a... I can put Maria's USB on him. It doesn't have any mind on it. So he's going to heal less. But he will take less damage. Let's see if I can get anything else out of his 4-star dive. I wouldn't mind doing that for him. Yeah, we can get a little bit. Not worth a dive now. But yeah, I believe Nabat's USB will be really valuable. I think of Nabat because of her chance to imperil with her LM2 as kind of like a Dark Mage machinist. Yeah, let's get him that health. I don't care about the magic. That should help. I mean, she's got her USB, which is a quick cycle, which is awesome for imperiling. The USB itself, you know, which is an imperil. Her LM2, which has a chance to imperil, and you can also give her Mark of Darkness, which gives her even more of a chance to imperil. It's probably too much imperil, so you'll probably want to put something else on her, like Dire Heal. And yeah, you can dual cast, which gives her even more chances to imperil. Who knows, maybe I end up using Vayne's BSB against Medine. Drain commands are always fun. Uh-oh. That was supposed to be targeted on Ash. I don't think it auto-acquires Ash. Whatever. It's 13,000 extra damage. Not gonna say no. Come on, Arc. Survive! I think he got crit. Didn't he take like 1400 in the previous run? He just took 1800. It's time to legend dive him. Let's put 6-star armor on him. That'll be our last attempt. Four-star, yes, Jimbo. He just can't use light armor. So yeah, that increases his stats quite a bit. But he loses a little bit of mind, whatever. I actually have his LMR, so it gives him a little bit of mind. Oops. I want to chain Thandaja on that turn. Somebody got crit. I think it was Onion Knight. I think he can survive anyway. We're gonna find out. Oh! We're in! Oh no! Oh no, I hope this entrust goes to Garnet. Please go to Garnet. Well... maybe I can make that work. This is gonna be weird. It's an early chain recast. Slows me down right now, but it should speed up the end of the fight. Gross. Oh man, are you kidding? Didn't even break the damage cap, which means the run is dead. D-E-D. Dead. No one's doing any damage anymore. But, you know, I mean... Ark? No, it's going fine. He's healing the party. I think Ark could just do this. I wouldn't even need Lars's USB. There you go. Just dodge the petrify. Oops. I messed up my damage output, that's all. Yeah, Ark can heal this. And that's with no crystal waters. Arc Super Soul Break 2. It's like Alpha No Super Soul Break. It's just one of those gifts keeps on giving. I may have to redo my commentary. Not right now. Not at 4 a.m. I'm tired. But I'm going to save that team. And see if it works even when the damage advances faster. Oh, oops. I lost it. It's okay. It's a pretty easy swap. We really have Arc do the exact same thing Larsa does. Not that I know of. My sub 30 was physical team. Replace, not assemble. Yeah, Arc Super Break 2 is awesome versus Ixion too. No, not the defense. He has two different modes. One is the evasion mode, which does hinder physical more than it does magical. But it's really not that big of a deal because soul breaks are auto hit. So you can just... Evasion doesn't hurt as much as it sounds like it should. It is instant cast, and I'm sure it matters a little bit. It's instant Curaga Medica with physical blink. It is only 3 effects, so it is a super soul break. But it's 3 extremely powerful effects, so it feels like an ultra soul break. And sometimes Ixion does have a defensive mode, but that affects magical teams as well as physical. It's just a damage reduction phase. You don't need to tell me. I know she is amazing for Earth. I need to switch my menu song now. Geo seems easier than Kraken? Are you... Not even close. I don't think there's a single thing that Kraken does that's harder, except for maybe sometimes he counters so much that it could catch you by surprise, but he would have to counter a ridiculous amount to exceed the amount of damage that Geo does. As well as Geo having 1,500,000 health to Kraken's 1 million. I don't even think he has 1 million. He doesn't, because he's got the tentacles. Remember, Kraken doesn't have the full 1 million. Yeah, Kraken has 783,000 health. It's about half the amount of health that Geo has. Doesn't deal as much damage. Has much smaller stats. It's 50% vulnerable to lightning, where Geo is only 20%. Yeah, but if you've got 950,000 health, I'm okay with saying that you have 1 million for shorthand. It's just Kraken doesn't even come close to 1 million. Like Eyes Goodbye, 932,000. That's 1 million. Tiamat, 915,000. That's close enough. That's 1 million. Now, Ixion is 667,000. He's a 3-star magicite. Hades has 975,000. That's about as close as you can get to 1 million. I know Robert is a joke. He has such bad stats that feels like a 3-star magicite. Let's go weird. What? Oh, I just pressed play. Son of a... I do that every single time. There we go. Alright. I'm done for the night/morning. See everyone soon.